Greetings. I hope this video finds you well and prospering. Hey, check this out. Continuing on with the conversation about the Philippines. I love it because when I left the Philippines, I told myself and my wife at the time that we would go back to the Philippines and have us an apartment there in the Philippines when we got to retirement age. So I've stayed connected with the Philippines all these years. Even though I haven't been there since 1990, I still remain connected with the Philippines through marriage. So even though the marriage has ended, I still remain connected to the Philippines from family members of my ex-wife. Yeah, they didn't judge me, nothing. You know, we still get along like that. So I still have connections in the Philippines. Excuse me. This is what I wanted to talk about: how to enjoy the Philippines. And I noticed this when I was stationed there. I was very active off base, Clark Air Force Base. A lot of Air Force personnel, like one of the biggest bases overseas, Clark Air Force Base, which is right there outside of Angeles City, and Subic Bay Naval Station, which is a short road trip away. I know because I have driven it with no fear. And this is what I was saying, guys, they talk about what they do in the Philippines and all of that. And I'm like, listen, the best way to enjoy the Philippines is to become a Filipino. And that's what I did. I infused myself with the locals. So it's like some men, they didn't want to melt in with the locals. Me, that was never the case. As soon as I got there, before I even had as soon as you touch down in the Philippines, this was I noticed the first thing when I got to the Philippines. The humidity. The humidity attacked me as soon as I got off the plane. Whew, tropical climate. The second thing, someone's always cooking. Yeah, you're going to smell some food wherever you are. You're going to feel that humidity and you're going to smell some food cooking. So yes, lovely. Listen, I don't mind tropical climate. That's good. I'm good with that. Rainy season come. People didn't like rainy season, but it only rained hard for like an hour in the day, and then the sun come back out. So yeah, rainy season. That was rainy season. For a couple months, few months, rain for an hour in the day. That's it. It's gone. Excuse me. But I was there before Mount Pinatubo erupted. So, I'm sure after the eruption and with the closing of the bases, I'm sure, a few things changed. But there's one thing that stays consistent, and that is if anyone, whatever nationality, whatever country you come from, when you go to another country, whether it be for, permanent work or just vacation, infuse yourself with the locals. And that's how you enjoy the Philippines. Because what I noticed, guys who did not enjoy the Philippines, they didn't go off base. They just stayed on the base. They didn't know any locals. The only Filipinos that they knew were the ones who worked on the base. They didn't go out to the furniture stores. They didn't go and get their car repaired off base. I had a mechanic right off the base. I would get clothing made, custom made clothing and shoes. So I always went to the same men and women for my clothes and my shoes. And my mechanical shop, I would go shopping. A lot of people, they didn't want to buy Filipino food. They didn't want to shop off base. I would go the local market. I want to say Dao Square. I want to say it was Daewoo Square. Don't quote me on that, but I believe it was the Daewoo Market. I would go to the Daewoo Market. Yeah, downtown in Angeles, the Daewoo Market. Go to the market, and a lot of Americans at the time, they were scared because the time that I was in the Philippines, there were several coup attempts. Yeah, there were several coup attempts at the time. It just back then there was a big thing between the Marcos and the Aquinos. That's another discussion. But I'm just saying that to let you all clearly see and hear that, I'm not just making the content because, a lot of people, Philippines content is popular. Filipino content is popular. I lived there. I know what I'm talking about. So I'm giving you all the clear meat of, he's talking genuine. I'm being genuine with you all. So the Daewoo Market. Go to the Daewoo Market and, do a lot of shopping and a lot of things that you could get on base, they couldn't get off base. So some of the, things, Oreos and Chips Ahoy, Snickers, people would take that stuff off the base down to the local markets and, sell it, whatever. It was, exchange it, trade. Because back then you couldn't, it wasn't a lot of that stuff was. So I remember they loved Oreos and Chips Ahoy. They loved those. So, to enjoy yourself, to better enjoy yourself in the Philippines, become a Filipino. Merge with the locals. Merge with them. If you go to the province and listen, driving from Clark Air Force Base to Subic Bay Naval Station, you see just so much beauty and land and nature. And it was like the traffic, once you get outside of the, commercialized city municipalities, once you get outside of that, you experience an entirely different Philippines. And so me and I had a buddy, even during travel restrictions, we jump on the road like, man, let's go to Subic. We drive to Subic because the nightlife in Subic is a little bit different than the nightlife in Clark. Because if a Navy ship was in and you went to Subic Bay, the girls were not even trying to be bothered with the Air Force guys. Yeah, they was one of those guys fresh off the boat. Hey, that's another discussion, but I loved it for them. So Air Force guys knew. And they would check, is there a ship in? And say, yeah. Okay, we're not going to Subic this weekend if there's a ship in. Because, guys been on the ship for, been out to sea for a month. They haven't spent any money. They haven't had any fun. So when they get, they have limited fun on the ship, whatever they did. But when they get shore leave, oh yeah, you talk about turned up. You wanna put yourself in the mindset of being turned up. Yeah, some bunch of Navy guys get off the boat and they go on shore leave in the Philippines. It's going down. I'm like, hey man, I did not get in their way. Yeah, I didn't get in their way. If I was there in Subic Bay and the Navy was in, I didn't get in their way. But I paid attention to the local. I was studying the Philippines. When I was in the Philippines, I was studying the Philippines. So yeah, the local, the local outside of the Navy base, it was a little bit different than the local situation outside of the Air Force base. But that was a heavy thing. So I had life on the base and I had a life off base. The guys who really didn't kind of feel like they was enjoying the field, I noticed they really didn't have a life off base amongst the locals. And I loved it. When I got married, and I'm going to wind the video down. When I got married, we had to go to Manila to get our marriage license. So we took a nice little drive to Manila. My mother-in-law drove, and then my wife. And so I was just sitting there looking, scanning, because I had never went to Manila. The only time I went to Manila was for our marriage license. Other than that, I was enjoying Angeles City, Clark Air Force Base, Baguio. We played softball in Baguio. And then, you know, just driving back and forth from Clark to Subic Bay. And it was just, that being there for 2 years, just the areas I went to was enough for me to really enjoy the Philippines. So I know when I go back, I'm going to spread my area of exploration out. I'm going to spread out and see much more of the country. Parts that I didn't see because I was working. I was a canine handler. So, I was working and searching for explosives and stuff. So, I had limited time to really explore. But when I go back as a retired man, I'm going to enjoy it. Yeah, merge with the locals, make friends. You go off base and see you. Hey, that's my buddy over. Let me go talk to him. Club owners and all that. Hey, blues bars and everything else. You get to know them people, and of course you're going to get to know the women. And you don't get to know all the women so that you can have a physical relationship with them. You just get to know women because it's like, I'm one of the locals, and they start treating you like one of the locals. And they, hey, Parico, hey, Kuya Chris. Sige na, pa, sige na. Okay, yeah. Hey, that's another discussion too. But yeah, we're gonna leave it at that. And I'm gonna get with y'all later. Hey, I love talking about the Philippines because I feel like I'm a Filipino.